If you're a fan of the channel, you know that I ride for Reeb Cycles, and I'm also a Pearl Izumi athlete. So over the past 4 years of working with both those brands, I've drawn inspiration from the Pearl Izumi line and applied it to different Reeb bikes. And this year I got my inspiration from a really wild place. So grab your sunglasses, because you're gonna need them for this bike check. All right, before we dive into my new bike, let's take a quick walk down memory lane and talk about a few of the past paint jobs I've had on previous Reeb bikes. So prior to joining Reeb, I had been a Candade ambassador for a couple years. Candade is a nonprofit organization. One of the things that we do are give away bikes to underprivileged kids. And we developed a custom Candade bike that the kids get. It's really awesome. It's cherry red. It has Trail Boss logos and Reeb logos on the frame. Even to this day, 4 years later, my trials bike is still red because that's what I ride when I do the assemblies for these kids. So when they get their bikes, they feel like it's the same type of bike that I ride. So if you're watching this video and you're feeling generous and you love the Candade story, I'm gonna put a link to Candade in the description below, and you can make a donation and we can get even more kids on bikes. Another cool collaboration I had was a few years ago. Pearl Izumi came up with this really cool forest green and gray jersey. So I decided to paint that squeeb battleship gray to match the gray of the jersey. And then I got custom frame and fork decals bi-stickered that matched that same forest green print. That collaboration came out super cool. The following year, I used a print that I saw on a women's jersey and I thought it looked super cool, so I wanted to use it for my jersey, and it came out awesome. I had the designers give me a couple complimentary colors, and I had the frame painted that. We had the custom decals, and last year's bike came out super cool. Last year was also the year that I got a brand new Ridiculous. That's my signature hardtail from Reeb, and I wanted to make it really cool, and that was inspired by the Pearl Izumi line as well. That was from this rain jacket, and since I ride for DVO and they make bright green colored forks, I figured why not make a dark forest green frame with a bright green fork to match this jacket that I loved wearing. Well, I don't like riding in the rain, I just like the color of it. Fast forward to this year, I got a brand new squeeb and I got that one custom painted pink. That one didn't match anything. It was just cool to have a pink frame with these really cool pink i9 wheels. And this bike came out super sick. I saw the spring 2022 line, and that's when I saw this jacket, and I knew that this had to be the color for my next Ridiculous. So I reached out to gnar. If you check out their Instagram, they come up with the wildest paint jobs ever. And I knew that in order to pull this thing off and make it look super sick, I wanted to have a matching frame and fork. Let's talk to the guys and let them give you the inspiration, because I pretty much showed them this jacket and told them to go for it.
Hi, my name is Dustin. I'm with gnar and I paint bikes. I think I'm going to do kind of a hard line pink and highlighter yellow back there. I think it should look pretty awesome when we're done. I've prepped the bike. It's got to be just pure white to start off with, so that it looks uniform all the way through. And this is what my paint bench looks like. I spill almost every time, and so it's kind of got a certain je ne sais quoi, I think. And here is our highlighter yellow that we're going to start with. Look at that color. That is perfect. The highlighter yellow also benefits from having a pure white background. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with the highlighter yellow, then mask off the yellow part, which will be the rear, and then start with the pink going forward. So here's the fork lowers right here. We're going to have the lower half be that highlighter yellow. And here is the frame. Now I've got to mask this off, and that's going to take a little time, but after that then I will paint up here pink. So we've got them unmasked and ready to go, and I think those colors look awesome together. There's my racing stripes. Now I'm going to clear them, because you can kind of see they have kind of a matte finish to them right now. But after I clear it, it will be very glossy and it will look like $1 million.
I'm so excited to show you. Let me grab it and let's check it out. This right here is my brand new Reeb Ridiculous. This is my signature bike. It matches the jacket so awesome. It has a retro throwback to probably right around the era when I started mountain biking. They totally knocked it out of the park. Super happy with how this bike came out. And then I got these custom decals made by Stickered. They bring in the teal of the jacket, so the Reeb decals on the down tube, the decals on the fork, all bring that color together. And then I used blue zip ties, blue Shimano logos, just to bring some more blue into the bike. And then last but not least, the super bright orange seal bottle just makes this thing like a throwback dream. This is a size large Reeb Ridiculous. The fork is a DVO diamond. It's obviously painted to match the frame. It's set at 140 millimeters of travel. I have a whole video on bike geometry and fork setup, so I'll put some links in the description below so you could hear a little bit more about that. The wheels are so cool. I talked to the guys at Industry 9. I told them I wanted the brightest, most fun wheels that they could possibly come up with. And I think there's one or two of every color spoke in these wheels. And when you're just sitting at it looking parked, it doesn't do it justice. You have to see these things spinning to really get a sense. It's like a bag of Skittles dropping out onto the floor. And mounted to the wheels are Vittoria Agaro trail tires. The trail casing is a little bit lighter than the Enduro. On the hardtail, I'm never going super fast. So I have a 2.6 front tire. I have a 2.4 in the rear with an airliner. I always use an airliner on my hardtail. Since there's no suspension, the rear wheel really takes a beating. So the airliner definitely gives me a little bit more support and keeps me flat free. The grips and saddle are super cool. They're both from Ergon. The saddle is brand new. It has a cool oil slick seat rail. The grips are probably 5 or 6 years old from when I first joined Ergon. I did update them though by switching out the grip collars to this really cool oil slick pattern. The brakes are Shimano XCR trail brakes. I run a 203 rotor in the front and 180 millimeter in the rear, and these are the brand new Ice Tech rotors from Shimano. The handlebar and stem are both made by Pro. The handlebars are uncut, so they're 800 millimeters wide, 30 millimeters tall. The stem is a 45 millimeter reach Pro Tharsis stem as well. The gear selection is something new for me. This has a Shimano XCR drivetrain. I usually use the 51 tooth cassette in the back with a 34 tooth cassette in the front. On this bike, I'm running it with a 32 up front and a 1045 in the rear. So it's gonna give me slightly smaller jumps between each gear, which I feel like when you're doing super technical stuff will come in handy because the jumps between gears aren't quite as big. And with a smaller gear in the front, since I'm never going super fast on this bike, I shouldn't run out of gear, but I should get a pretty wide range as well. One of the most important parts of my bike you can't even see, but you can see the Orange Seal sticker on my handlebar and the bright orange water bottle, and that is Orange Seal in my tires. I hate getting flats, and Orange Seal does an awesome job keeping me flat free when I'm on the trail. Sometimes I have a Wahoo computer mounted to the handlebars, but usually I just use a Wahoo wristwatch. That's how I record all my rides. It gives me all the data that I need, records my heart rate, distance, all that stuff. A super useful piece of equipment. So there you have it. There's my new hardtail for the year. Hopefully you like this bike check. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do so that you can see me riding this bike in future videos. Only half of you watching these videos are subscribed. I'm super anxious to go ride this bike. So until next time, get out there and be a boss.